So I'm sure you've seen this photo floating around Facebook and Tumblr about there being a real life Courage the Cowardly Dog house. Is this true? Well, here at That's Fucking Strange, we do all the research you don't want to. So let's see what we uncovered. First, let's get a little bit of background on skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are Navajo shapeshifters that can change their form to any animal to suit their needs. Need to fly, they become a bird. Need to run fast, they become a wolf, etc. Skinwalkers are known to be lurkers. They hide outside your window, for example, and wouldn't approach unless you were all by yourself. It is known that skinwalkers take interest in a human before attempting to convert them. Whether it is an obsession of their strength or a lust for their beauty, they will stalk their prey for many months before making any moves. Sounds pretty terrifying. So terrifying that the Navajo won't even acknowledge their existence, scared that speaking too much of them will draw them to you. Now, let's see what this photo has to say. The show is set in a town called Nowhere, which is actually a real place in New Mexico. In real life, an elderly couple who lived in Nowhere with their pet dog frequently reported bizarre and paranormal activity, including a creature they identified as a skinwalker. After their report, the couple went missing under strange circumstances. Only the dog was found. There actually is not any place called Nowhere, New Mexico, but I did find two different stories that somewhat fit the outline of this photo. Both are based out of New Mexico, which has the most skinwalker sightings of any state in America. So common, in fact, that the police are used to dealing with cases of them. So I think we might be on the right track. The first was in Roswell, New Mexico, which is most famous for its UFO sightings. In Roswell, a couple mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Let's take a look.
Good afternoon. Police and deputies around New Mexico are looking for a couple that vanished almost 2 weeks ago. They do think the disappearance is suspicious. News 13's Cheyenne Cope is live in Roswell where the couple lived. Cheyenne?
Jessica, family members say Raquel Rodriguez and Abraham Jimenez have been missing since April 19th, and the sheriff's office is concerned because of what they left behind. No one has seen or heard from Raquel Rodriguez or her boyfriend Abraham Jimenez in almost 2 weeks.
We are still investigating this as a missing persons under suspicious circumstances.
The last known person to have contact with Rodriguez was her son on April 19th. He reported her missing a week later. Rodriguez and Jimenez live in the country outside of Roswell, but her van was found abandoned miles from their home. The Chaves County Sheriff's Office have not found any evidence of foul play, but do believe there is reason for concern. They say the couple had a number of animals that were left without food or water.
Which shows us that you're not going out of town. You didn't prepare to be gone.
The Sheriff's Office also says they are doing everything they can to locate the couple.
We've gone out, we've looked around, we've taken out four-wheelers, we've searched the entire area where the vehicle was found as well as the residence.
They are working with what leads they have, but urge anyone who knows something to speak up.
If they do see him or have any contact, please contact us so that we can basically make sure they're okay.
And deputies say that when they found that couple's van, it did not appear to be broken down. Rodriguez's son says he last saw his mom at his home in Roswell. Jessica, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Cheyenne. We did reach out to Raquel Rodriguez's son, but he did not want to comment.
Now, it doesn't say anything about a dog, but it does talk about them leaving their animals, so a dog could have been involved. This video was posted May 1st of 2015. The photo was first discovered in late 2016, so they might have made this photo based on this story. But Courage the Cowardly Dog was released November 12, 1999, which was much earlier than this story, which means we have to dive even deeper to see if this photo has any merit, which is exactly what we did. But what we found was not exactly what we were looking for. In 1997, Marie Parker disappeared at age 22 from Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. Yes, that's a real place. Only her dog was found at her home, which looked pretty similar to the Courage the Cowardly Dog home. Marie was making strange reports to the police about someone stalking her home just a few weeks prior to her disappearance, July 1997. April 13, 1999, a man named Dennis Roy Yancey was tried for the murder of Marie, whose body had been dumped in Elephant Butte Lake, strangled to death. So between the correlation of the disappearance being in 1997 and the body not being found until 1999 and the show coming out later that year, it could have been thought that Marie was killed by a skinwalker before her body was found 2 years later. But the string doesn't end there. Dennis Yancey was investigated by the FBI and found to be an associate of the most infamous killer in all of New Mexico, the Toy Box Killer, David Parker Ray, who killed approximately 50 women in a soundproof trailer. He was sentenced to 224 years in prison. Dennis was found to be involved in 2 other kidnapping, rape, and torture crimes of 2 women who were found inside the trailer. How is this all connected? The Courage the Cowardly Dog house is in the middle of nowhere. David Parker Ray lived about 7 miles north of Truth and Consequences, the town where he located and kidnapped all of his victims. Truth and Consequences has a population of about 3,000 in the 90s, making it truly the middle of nowhere and a perfect location for David Parker Ray to find his prey. Naming the town after its true name would have been too obvious for the show's creators, but the similarities are striking. David Parker Ray was known for traveling down to Truth and Consequences and looking for houses that were isolated and far away from any town or people, which fits the description of Marie's house. After stalking his prey, he would use disguises and try to gain the trust of the family living in the secluded home. Once he had identified his targets and learned more about them, he had 3 main strategies: winning sympathy with a sob story to be allowed entry, tricking the homeowners with grand prizes, money and movie deals, etc., or cutting the phone line and offering help. All of these strategies are tactics commonly used by the evil characters in Courage the Cowardly Dog. Does a sob story under a fake disguise sound familiar? How about a pretend Hollywood director who claims that the house is perfect for his set? The list goes on, but we need to bring this full circle. Was Courage the Cowardly Dog based on a true story? Well, the answer is yes and no. The tactics of David Parker Ray were strangely similar to the Navajo stories of the New Mexican skinwalker, a human-like figure that would take interest in a human, stalk them, lure them with a disguise, and then bring them to the dark side. This theory would also explain the reluctance of the locals to speak of the New Mexico skinwalker. Some may know the truth and actually prefer the urban legend to the even more twisted reality. But now I want to know what you guys think. Did I miss anything important? Tell me in the comments below and subscribe for even more great content coming very soon. As always, I'm Alex, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
Cuts deeper than the roots of the trees that we planted in the graveyard. I don't think these scars will ever fade off. Good thing nothing seems to faze us. So numb, we've become so numb. How'd we get so numb?